All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something pretty incredible today. I mean, this idea that there's this huge potential just hiding in plain sight, right in your own backyard.
So let's just get to the big question right away. I want you to picture a typical backyard, a normal suburban lot. Could that patch of grass really feed an entire family? I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Like, no way. Well, get this. The answer isn't just yes. It's a huge, almost unbelievable 80%. Yeah, you heard that right. A really well-designed system can crank out up to 80% of what a family needs to eat. So the next question is obvious. How big of a farm are we talking about here?
And this is the part that just blows my mind. We are not talking about some massive farm out in the country. We're talking about just a quarter of an acre. To put that in perspective, that's pretty much the size of a large suburban backyard, a space that tons of people already have. All of a sudden, this whole idea goes from being some kind of far-off dream to something you could actually do.
Okay, so how in the world do you pull that off? How do you get that much food from what's basically a big yard? Well, it's not magic, but it is a really smart blueprint. So let's dig in and see what you actually need to grow and raise to make it happen.
So here's the secret sauce. It's all about strategy. You can't just throw a bunch of random seeds out there and hope for the best. Nope. To get these kinds of numbers, the whole system is built around high-calorie, high-yield crops. We're talking about getting the most bang for your buck, nutritionally speaking. It's all about making every single square foot count.
And just look at what this means in real numbers. The potential here is, well, it's staggering. Just think about this for a second. Over 800 kilograms of potatoes. That's a massive amount of energy to fuel a family. Then you've got 500 kilos of leafy greens. And if you add a few chickens to the mix, you could be looking at over 4,000 eggs a year. These aren't just, a little side salad. These are the absolute workhorses of the whole operation.
But, you can't just live on potatoes and eggs, right? So once you have that strong foundation, that's when you start building out the rest of the pantry. You start adding things for variety and nutrition, stuff like beans for protein, squash that you can store for ages, all those delicious summer tomatoes, and even fruit from special dwarf trees that don't take up a lot of space. Oh, and berries and herbs, of course.
Okay. I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds like an insane amount of backbreaking work, right? But here's the really cool part. That's the beauty of this whole system. It's designed to be smarter, not harder. It's all about using techniques that work with nature instead of constantly fighting against it. And the big idea behind all these techniques is something called permaculture. Now, that might sound complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It just means you're designing your garden to work like a mini ecosystem. So instead of always battling weeds and bugs, you create this balanced little world where everything kind of helps each other out. It saves you so much time and energy. A perfect example of this is the no-dig method. I love this. Forget all that hard work of tilling and turning the soil. You literally just lay down some cardboard right on top of your grass. That smothers all the weeds. Then you pile on good stuff like compost and mulch, and you plant right into that. It's a total backsaver, and over time, you build up this amazing, rich, healthy soil.
And the smart ideas just keep coming. It's all about using every last inch of space, like growing things vertically. Think beans or squash climbing up a trellis, or something called succession planting. That just means as soon as one crop is done, you pop another one in its place. You might get 2 or 3 harvests from the same little spot. And of course, composting, turning all your kitchen scraps into that beautiful black gold that makes your garden thrive.
All right, so let's fast forward. You've done it. You've followed the blueprint, and you have this massive, incredible harvest. Awesome. But now, what do you do with it all? That's the next big challenge, right? How do you make all that summer goodness last through the entire year? You see, growing the food, that's really only half the job. The other, equally important half is preservation. We're talking about those old-school skills like canning all those tomatoes so you can taste summer in January, or drying herbs and fruit, or having a cool spot like a root cellar to store your potatoes and squash all winter long. This is what turns a summer garden into a full-year pantry. Now, we got to be realistic for a second. This is super important. This isn't some fantasy about going completely off-grid and dropping out of society. The reality is actually much more down-to-earth and practical. Think of it as a strategy, a way for regular people, suburban homesteaders, to slash their grocery bills and, let's be honest, eat way healthier and tastier food. And I bet some of you are thinking, yeah, but could this really work where I live? And for most people, the answer is a solid yes.
Because the basic idea is, building great soil, picking plants that like your climate, and using your space wisely, those things work pretty much anywhere. It's a super adaptable system.
Look, if all of this sounds a little overwhelming, don't worry. The key takeaway, the best piece of advice, is so simple. Just start small. You don't have to do everything on day one. Just build one little garden bed. Focus on making that soil really good, and just see what grows. You'll be amazed. So next time you look out at a backyard, maybe it's yours, maybe it's your neighbor's, try not to just see a patch of grass that needs to be mowed. Try to see the potential for some serious abundance. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. What could your quarter acre become?